Hi guys, welcome back to another video here on the channel. So today I bring you my January wrap-up. Um, wants to be part of the film today, so he's gonna be here, kind of messing a little bit of the things. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Hi guys, welcome back, and as I was saying, this is my January wrap-up. I read a total of 5 books this month, which I was planning to read 5 anyways, but I didn't finish the audiobook and I start another one that is different. Almost all of the books have reviews here instead the one that I trade for the audiobook. Here I'll link in the card and down below if you want to check the dedicated reviews. So let's start very quickly to show what were my reads for January. The first book I read was You Have a Match by Emma Lord. This was a new release. It was on my excited books for 2021, and in this book we follow Abby as she's discovered through a DNA test she has an older sister that she didn't know about, and they try to reconnect with each other and to learn why one was given to adoption. It's a YA contemporary. I didn't enjoy as much as Street Cute, Emma Lord's first book. I think it lacked some interesting points that I loved about Tweet Cute. I also think it's not so good because it only has one POV, which limited a lot of the action and the feelings and the introspection that could get from both sisters. Overall, it was an interesting story. I gave it 3.5 stars. If you want, check it, but I didn't enjoy as much as Street Cute. The second book I read was The Storyteller by Jodi Picoult. This was part of the project led Jodi Picoult from Dora from the channel Books and Movies and Sander from the channel Milk Thrillers Nicole, and also part of Dora's project Hall 76. In this book we follow Sage. She met in her grief group an older man named Joseph. They start to build a friendship and he asked her something very terrible because he did something very terrible, and we go to see the behind of the Nazi party, the behind about the Holocaust, because Sage's grandmother was a victim of the Holocaust. I totally love the storytelling. I think the descriptions on both sides, especially of Sage's grandmother, was brilliantly done, so heartbreaking. Everything that she went through, I totally enjoyed it, totally recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. It's totally a 5 stars reading. The book that has also a review here on the channel was The Last Thing to Burn by Will Dean. This is also a new release. It's already released in the US. It's going to be released in April in the UK. It's a thriller captive story. We follow this woman who the man who's making captive call her Jane, but we know that she's not Jane. She's from the Vietnam, and she struggles to be released, but also has conflict because her sister is also an illegal immigrant like her, and he already said that if she flees, her sister will be deported. And the way she builds herself is, I need to make my sister have a good life, so I will suffer, I don't mind. Every time that she does something bad, she tries to escape, she didn't clean, she didn't cook the way he liked, he'll burn one of her belongings. I start with 11, 17. She starts with a lot of belongings, and when we see her, she's like down to 4. She's a captive woman for a long time, and in one day she gets pregnant, and then you see the struggle between her choosing her sister and her daughter, everything that comes after. It's a very intriguing, very captivating reading. I loved it totally. I also gave it 5 stars. It's totally worth it. Will Dean writing style is amazing. The story plots, that's not the plot twists, but the events that come through the book will shock you, and I think you won't be expecting them. And I totally recommend if you check it. Another book that I've read, and this is about reading my best friend from the UK. I gifted him a lot of books in Christmas, and I gifted this one and more two of this series because it's one of my favorite series of all time. One of my favorite series on growing up, and it's marked by PC Cast and Christian Cast. This is the Portuguese edition. I totally love this series growing up. It was after Twilight. This was much better than Twilight for me. I was totally obsessed. I have all the books. I read it till college. I was always checking when they're gonna release the next one. If you don't know what this is about, this is the only book that doesn't have a review because it was a reread. We follow Zoe Redbird as she's marked as a vampire because in this world the vampires are not beaten and born. They get marked by these vampire hunters. It's not hunters, but these vampires were specialized by the goddess because they worship Nyx, the goddess of night, and they mark the new students. After you are marked, you must go to the House of Night to live with another full adult vampires, so your body doesn't reject the change, but your body can reject the change otherwise, so and you die. So it's not a thing that you are marked, you will be a vampire. No, there is a 4 year. You can die in the first day, you can die in the last day before you turn into a full vampire. The story has a lot of more mature content. I still enjoy it as a reread today. I think when you reread it, knowing the whole story, you see things from a different perspective, and I definitely catch some Easter eggs, especially in the end. I wasn't expecting that, and when I read it, I said, "What? Let's reread it again." And I read it, and I was like, "Oh God, this is a major Easter egg for what's coming next." I didn't expect a book like this will have so much forward information, and when you reread it you catch it so well. I totally loved it. I think it's not a 5-star read, but I gave it 4 stars. I think there are stronger books on the series. This one, it's much more about the setting and how things will get started in this adventure, but I totally loved it. If you are interested, or at least go with the open mind, because it's an amazing series. The magic system, the lore behind it, it's very interesting. All the vampire lore and the way they are behave in this matriarchal society, it's totally amazing. It's very worth it reading. And the last book that I've read that has a review, I put it on Tuesday, is Dark Shade of Magic by V. Schwab. As you know, I gave it 5 stars. I totally loved it. We follow Kel as he's a travel through dimensions. He's an ambassador for the Red London, where magic is normal and he's respected. You have the Grey London, that is without a land without magic, and you have the White London, when magic fights for power, and the kings are much like year from year they are thrown out because they are constantly fighting for the throne. When he goes on his trips to the Grey London, he falls on a girl, Lila, who he's a thief and stole an important item that he got, but it was set up to bring that object, and it's a very powerful and dangerous object, so they have to go in this quest and see who is behind the setup, and how they can destroy or they can vanquish the object. It's a very interesting story. I love the magic system. The characters are very compelling. The setting, the whole description was amazing. I totally loved it. And it was another 5-star read. So guys, this was my reading wrap up. What do you think about my month? I think it was an amazing month. I read amazing books. Some that are expecting a little bit more, but I hope you were excited by my readings. Check out my reviews. If you were interested in the books, I have reviews here on the channel. The links will be down below and in the card. Check them to get more information. I would love to discuss if you read any of these books or if you are excited. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes on Saturday. So I see you guys in my next video. Bye.